If you're looking...
Every hour, 24 hours a day. KARE 11 News and Weather on the hour. News and weather when it matters.
Minneapolis Children's reminds you that young children can choke on balloons and other small objects. You'd never try a stunt like this, but your baby might. Minneapolis Children's reminds you, never leave young children alone when they're in a walker.
Start spreading the news.
Start spreading the news. It's Frank Sinatra live, in concert, in person, incredible.
Pretty teeth, dear. I grew tall, faced it all, and did it my way.
Frank Sinatra appears Super Bowl Friday, January 24th at Met Center. Call Ticketmaster.
Here are tonight's winning Lotto Minnesota numbers. We'll repeat these numbers in a few minutes during KARE 11's News at 10. From your 24-hour news station, this is Joan Steffen, Randy Shaver, and meteorologist Ellen Ferrara. And this is KARE 11 News.
Good evening, everybody. Randy Shaver is on assignment. A St. Paul man is dead tonight after being shot several times outside a bar. Police are investigating it as a murder. The victim's family says it was a racial attack. It's one of the stories making headlines tonight.
May God bless them. And may God bless America, the most wondrous land on earth.
A teary-eyed president remembers those who lost their lives on December 7th, 1941. In a moment, we'll have a live report from Hawaii on the 50th anniversary of the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. We'll also tell you about local remembrances and hear from a Minnesotan who is a Pearl Harbor survivor. But we begin with the shooting death of a St. Paul man. As Mary Stuckey reports, the victim's family says he died for one reason: the color of his skin.
Stupidity, that's what it is. It's not, we're not blaming it on your race, it's just they were stupid.
Cheryl Clark was with Jesse Adams when he was shot to death here in the early morning hours. Adams had just left this bar on St. Paul's Rice Street when he was attacked.
Police say a group of white men approached Adams and his female companion and used racial slurs against them.
Clark says one of the men asked what they were doing in the neighborhood and punched Adams in the face.
I went back to the bar to knock on the door to ask for help, and while I was knocking on the door, I turned around and they were standing up over him. One was leaning on him, other one was standing up over him. And I heard shots, and I went hysteric from there.
Police told reporters they have one man in custody and continue to ask witnesses to come forward.
We feel we've got one of the people responsible, and we anticipate that we'll be making more arrests.
Adams was engaged to marry Margaret Clark and was the father of her two children.
He's not no troublemaker. He's never been in jail, no record.
The family says Adams' death is evidence that blacks in America can still be killed because of their race.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
Real sad that we can't all just be just as one nation.
My grandma taught me a long time ago not to fear anybody, because God's always with me.
For Cheryl Clark, that notion was sorely tested last night. Mary Stuckey, KARE 11 News.
And police say they do have two other people in custody tonight. In the meantime, a fund has been set up at a church for Jesse Adams' family. Donations are being accepted at the Rehop Church, 916 31st Avenue North in Minneapolis. The zip code there is 55411. Topping Datelines, a television helicopter crash that killed 3 people in North Carolina. Authorities say the chopper apparently had engine failure and skidded across a field early this morning. The television crew was on its way back from covering a high school football playoff game. One passenger, a sports reporter, survived. He walked through a half-mile of dense woods for help before collapsing on the front porch of a home. In West Palm Beach, Florida, the defense got underway in the William Kennedy Smith rape trial. Their first witness was a bartender who had known the accuser for 10 years. Earlier, the judge barred the testimony of a rape expert for the prosecution. The judge was concerned that his appearance might prevent the trial from ending by Christmas. And former hostage Alan Steen is in the hospital tonight. Officials say Steen suffered a seizure immediately after leaving Detroit Metropolitan Airport. He arrived in Detroit following a flight from Germany. He stopped to talk with reporters there. He's being kept overnight in the hospital, but his condition is not known at this hour. Well, those who lived through World War II are reliving the memory of Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor 50 years ago today. Governor Arne Carlson attended a touching ceremony in St. Paul. A Minnesota veteran cried as he was honored for his service aboard the USS Ward, the ship that fired the first American shot of World War II. The ceremony was held outside the Veterans Service Building next to the ship's gun that fired that first shot. At the VA hospital in Minneapolis, scores of veterans and loved ones gathered and began to pray 50 years to the minute from the attack on Pearl Harbor. Veterans told stories of tragedy and heroics. This is a day they say they will never forget, and one we should always remember.
I've never gotten over Pearl Harbor, I'll tell you the truth about it. I lost some friends there in Pearl Harbor, and I've never gotten over it. And I want it clearly understood that I'm supposed to be a Christian man and forgiving, but I don't know, I can't forgive people for doing something like that.
Pearl Harbor survivors like Al Quackenbush come together like this every year. They say remembering the surprise attack with the support of each other keeps them strong. Well, ceremonies were held across the country today to honor Pearl Harbor victims and survivors. At Arlington National Cemetery, a full honor wreath ceremony was held at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. During the ceremony, an orchid, Hawaii's state flower, was placed on the Pearl Harbor Memorial 150 feet away from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. In Conyers, Georgia, a group of World War II veterans marked the Pearl Harbor anniversary by burning a Japanese flag. Officials of the Japanese community in Atlanta expressed concern about that action. But by far the most emotional and patriotic observance was held in Pearl Harbor today. President Bush led a solemn ceremony at the memorial that straddles the sunken hulk of the USS Arizona. For more on what happened today, we turn to Lori Matsukawa in Pearl Harbor. Lori?
Joan, the president urged all of the veterans present today to honor those who died in the attack on Pearl Harbor and in the war which followed. But he also asked that citizens embrace the ideals of peace with former enemies who are now our allies. For some Pearl Harbor survivors, it's something they can deal with. But for others, it is something they say they cannot. As the sun rose over Punch Bowl Cemetery, President Bush placed a wreath in memory of the 13,000 World War II military dead buried here. He saluted the Pearl Harbor survivors, as well as the thousands of Japanese Americans who survived government-imposed internment during the war. At the Arizona Memorial, President and Mrs. Bush cast flower leis on the waters, which cover the final resting place of over 1,100 sailors and Marines. In his speech alongside the battleship Missouri, the president urged the people to reconcile their feelings and work for peace.
America, this is no time for recrimination. World War II is over. It is history. We won. We crushed totalitarianism, and when that was done, we helped our enemies give birth to democracy.
But forgiveness is difficult for some survivors.
I shall never forget Pearl Harbor. Every drop of oil that is coming up from the Arizona is like blood and life coming up from some of my buddies.
Medal of Honor winner John Finn says he goes along with the president.
I hold no rancor against our enemies because basically the people that during the fighting, they're just like I was. They're somebody that's obeying orders when you get into...
A historian symposium is continuing this week, proving again that Pearl Harbor is a fascinating topic, even after 50 years. Joan?
Thank you very much, Lori. Here in the Twin Cities, memories are being uncovered in a variety of ways. Bob Borries of Golden Valley brought out the newspaper accounts of the 1941 attack tonight. For 3 cents back then, you could have had a copy of the Minneapolis Star-Journal tell you about the start of the war. 4 years before Borries was born, his father put together a collection of newspapers from that historic time, including the copy of the Tribune announcing Japan's surrender. Pearl Harbor anniversary coverage continues in tonight's Extra. We'll take a look at lingering resentment towards the Japanese 50 years later and problems Japanese Americans have faced since December 7th, 1941. Later in sports, the Minnesota Vikings are in Tampa Bay for an all-important Sunday showdown. And before we go tonight, children and the magic of the holiday season. We'll be right back.
Until now, plowing through what the snowplow left behind was one of winter's toughest challenges. Now, Toro introduces the exclusive PowerShift snow thrower. The PowerShift automatically puts more weight on the front for a more powerful bite on winter's toughest snow. The new Toro PowerShift. The only challenge left? Getting out of the driveway to go buy one.
Save now at Lane True Value, Lee's Farm and Garden, and Dell's Sales and Service.
So many families now love Quaker Oat squares. Think how a flake feels. You okay?
I'm so flat and frail, not square like you.
Quaker Oat squares are more than just square. We're toasted whole grain oats sprinkled with brown sugar.
You're sprinkled. I'm wrinkled.
And Quaker Oat squares stay crunchy in milk. Come on in.
Can't. Once milk touches me, I'm a soggy sight.
I'll try not to splash. Quaker Oat squares. You'll love them from Square One.
This is beautiful.
How much? Pulsar?
Pulsar.
Pulsar por este.
I think he wants your watch.
But honey, you gave me this watch.
Money. How much money?
Pulsar también?
Sí, Pulsar.
Pulsar por esta.
What, is he kidding?
No.
Some things in life are worth far more than they cost.
No thank you.
Pulsar. There's no time like it.
Nice job.
What exactly is Sesame Street Live? Well, we suggest you judge it at face value. Let's face it, Sesame Street Live is all kinds of fun, wrapped into one. Sesame Street Live, the one show you'll be glad you shared with your children.
Now playing through Sunday at Target Center. Good seats still available. Tickets at the box office, Ticketmaster, or call 989-5151.
I could hear boom, 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 and so on. And of course, the flak up in the air, you could see the thing going up in the air like this and making sounds of that nature.
The memories of a Minnesotan who was in Hawaii when the Japanese attacked. He happens to be a Japanese American. He remembers how Americans of Japanese descent were treated after Pearl Harbor. Today, President Bush called on survivors of the attack to put aside feelings of anger toward Japan. In the last part of his series of reports on Pearl Harbor, KARE 11's Alan Costantini finds that such feelings are mixed.
To have survived the Pearl Harbor Holocaust is an experience beyond comprehension. To have lost your ship, your sense of security, and most important, your friends, and in some cases siblings, is not something easily dismissed even after 50 years.
To this day, knowingly, I don't buy any Japanese product. I don't hate them, but I'm not going to forgive them either. And I'm not going to forget them. Hate to be that way, but that's my feeling.
More than a few Pearl Harbor survivors share such feelings, but not all. And even USS Arizona survivor Ed Wensloff admits to admiration for Japanese devotion to education and respect for the elderly. 5 decades is a lot of time to think and learn and understand.
It's only about 5 to 10% of the people that are the ones that are running the wartime part of it, the Army and the Navy and the Marines and that are doing all of this. The rest of the people really may not have even agreed with this attack.
Minnesota's Pearl Harbor survivors have often become well-read experts who have tried to understand Japan's reasons for attacking.
Anybody who thought they were attacking with the idea of taking over the United States, that's completely wrong.
American military men and women bore the brunt of the Pearl Harbor attack, but they weren't the only Americans who saw what happened and became victims.
So I saw the planes coming through this mountain pass area like this, and first attack here, and then go up in the air and then attack the base and destroyed everything over there.
Edwin Bud Nakasone of White Bear Lake was just 14 years old when he heard a plane pass over his family's home on Oahu.
I had run outside to see the plane because I heard the plane coming through. I saw the rising sun emblem, and I ran back into the house and awakened everybody and said, Japan is attacking us, Japan is attacking us, this is war, this is war.
Bud Nakasone remembers feeling a surge of fear and patriotism, wanting to help defend his country. But his was a Japanese-American family, and at first their help was not welcome.
Right after the attack occurred, FBI did come to my home, okay? And they took my father away.
His father was returned the next day, but it would be a year and a half before Japanese Americans would be allowed to enter the American Army. They would become among the most decorated of American troops, but most of their families would spend the war in what amounted to concentration camps, deprived of freedom and property in the land of the free. Bud Nakasone never spent a day in a camp, but he makes sure his Lakewood Community College students know what happened, American to American, 50 years ago. That 14-year-old Pearl Harbor witness eventually reached the rank of lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve. Professor Nakasone is now 64 and teaches a popular class in World War II history, including Pearl Harbor and the virtual jailing of mainland first and second generation Japanese Americans.
Japanese Issei and Nisei became the victims right away. They were easily picked out. They were highly visible, and people equated them with the pilots who attacked Pearl Harbor.
Does this witness to history fear the anniversary observances will spur a new wave of anti-Japanese and anti-Japanese American sentiment?
Not really. I think we're bigger and we'll be able to absorb all of that and not be at that stage where we should be concentrating on the past heritage, past hatred to that extent. And so I'm not that concerned. I think it will all be a wash after a while. And I think we can learn from this as a lesson of history and just move on.
50 years after the attack, the Pearl Harbor survivors have moved on, but have not forgotten. And judging by their Minnesota chairman, they are hardly warmongers.
In the past years since Pearl Harbor, we haven't done too well. We've been involved in wars that we shouldn't have been. We feel that our guys in Desert Storm did a fantastic job, that they were well equipped, masterfully led, but they fought a war that didn't have to be fought. It's my own personal opinion. I think had we been politically alert, that could have been avoided. And that's what we mean when we want people to remember Pearl Harbor and keep America alert.
The memory of Pearl Harbor has left the survivors yearning for a vigilant peace, not another war. Alan Costantini, KARE 11 News.
Bud Nakasone's grandchildren will have reminders of Pearl Harbor on both sides of the family. His son married the daughter of a crewman on the USS Ward, the destroyer that fired the first American shots of the war, sinking a Japanese submarine at the entrance to Pearl Harbor.
Surrender to the music of the night.
The power of the music of the night.
The music of Andrew Lloyd Webber with special guest star Michael Crawford. A spectacular theatrical concert. From the most successful composer of our time, the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber with special guest star Michael Crawford.
Meyerly's welcomes the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber with Michael Crawford, December 17th through 22nd. At Northrop Auditorium.
Come on now, come on! Audio video, Superstore!
They've got lousy service.
Buy camera at discount store.
They never have what I need.
No way.
National Camera and Video! Selection, service, low prices, I win!
Great film developing, too.
And now at National Camera, you'll find the Minolta 3XI for only $239.95. And the Yashica Zoom Tech 80 for a low $159.95.
Cheer up, guys. Later we can play cootie.
All right. National Camera and Video.
There's a new pet.
Chia.
Chia Pet, the pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. Soak your chia, spread the seeds, keep it watered, and watch it grow. And now grow a whole collection of fun with chia teddy bears, puppies, kittens, rams, poles. There's even a chia tree to keep your pets company. Chia Pets and Trees, the pottery that grows.
Chia Pets and Chia Trees available at Snyder Drug, Walgreens, Pomida, and Kmart.
The Cities 97 FM is proud to present the City Sampler Volume 3, Songs for the Earth, a collection of 13 songs that concern the environment. Since 1989, City Sampler sales have raised $120,000 for the Minnesota food shelves. This year's City Sampler features the musical depth and variety you've come to expect from 97.1 FM. The City Sampler Volume 3, now available on compact disc and cassette at most Twin City music retailers.
You are watching KARE 11 News at 10.
Businesses along Grand Avenue are celebrating the holiday season in grand style. Shoppers and strollers can enjoy free horse-drawn hay rides or take a chance on a Christmas taste treat. Those are chestnuts roasting on an open barbecue. It was almost
not bad.
Almost, but I think maybe even an ice cream concession would have done okay out there today.
Well, we saw quite a bit of melting snow out there today.
It was like, if you were really optimistic, you could almost feel spring in the air out there today. You know,
I think
dripping,
Randy's feeling a little bit more spring than we are right now. It was 80 in Tampa Bay. I remember you said earlier he was on assignment. Wouldn't mind an assignment in Tampa Bay right about now.
No kidding.
It's going to be real nice there tomorrow for the Buccaneers game also, about 80 degrees and sunshine. For us, well, near normal temperatures, but not as warm as we saw today. We were up to 44 degrees, as you'll see from the almanac data. Low was 25. Normal high this time of the year, 31 degrees. And right now, we're still above that at 36. Skies are mostly cloudy, winds light from the southeast. A dew point of 31 degrees with humidity high, and pressure is rising slowly. Well, we had a cold front draped over the northern half of Minnesota today, and as a result, quite a contrast in temperatures. North of the front, much colder, single digits and teens. To the south, 30s and 40s, and that's where it's mildest tonight. 32 right now in Redwood Falls and 30 degrees in St. Cloud, while it's 34 in Rochester and 43 this hour in Des Moines. But to the north, here are the teens, 16 in Bemidji, 13 degrees from International Falls over to Warroad, and also 17 degrees now in Grand Forks. And as our warm air rides up and over this cold air, it rises, cools, condenses, clouds form, and so does some light precipitation, which has been in the form of freezing rain tonight from places like Pierre, South Dakota through Aberdeen. And there's also been a strip of freezing rain over parts of central and north central Minnesota into northwest Wisconsin. Now to the south, where we've seen all that melting snow today, there's lots of low-level moisture around, and as a result, very dense fog. In fact, in all of this area shaded in yellow, visibilities are generally under a quarter of a mile, near zero in some cases. That includes places like Fairmont and Worthington and Albert Lee in Minnesota. The National Weather Service has issued dense fog advisories for this entire area tonight because of poor visibility, while to the north, icing on some of the roadways extending into northwest Wisconsin. That will persist into tonight. Here's the satellite loop. You can see how all that moisture has continued to spread from west to east across most of Minnesota. Once again, some low-level moisture not being picked up to the south, with that dense fog conditions being reported just about statewide over Iowa and southern Wisconsin, and also extreme southern Minnesota. But as we take a look at the weather map, here's what's going on. We have a low pressure system that's going to be moving very quickly from Saskatchewan across the northern plains. That will cause a shift in the wind. Skies to clear out generally late tomorrow, and then another clipper catching up with us by Monday. I'll spell it all out for you in the forecast right after this.
In the spirit of the Olympic Games, the Postal Service would like to present two-day priority mail. That's delivery in just 2 days of up to 2 pounds for just $2.90. Remember, 2 days, 2 pounds, $2.90. 2-day priority mail from your Postal Service.
We deliver for you.
Official sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games.
There's a business where goals aren't measured by quarters, but by generations. A business where the board meets under open sky. For this business, DuPont created Accent, a low-use rate herbicide that protects corn from quackgrass and foxtail, and protects the land as well. Because in this business, The accent is on tomorrow.
Trucks presents the 10th annual Keystone Beer Motor Spectacular at the Metrodome. Your last chance tonight. The Super Bowl Nationals, Wild Demolition Derby, Championship All-Stars in motocross racing, plus the USA Monster Truck Challenge starring Carolina Crusher, Gravedigger, Bigfoot, and more. Tickets now at Ticketmaster. Free Monster Truck flashlight to all kids. The big boys with the big toys. The gear-shattering axle-swapping event of a lifetime. It's gonna take a week to clean this one up.
Jack and Mary are newlyweds. Mary is learning the joy of cooking. Jack is learning diplomacy.
Is everything all right, dear?
Yes, dear.
It's a shame our newlyweds don't know about down-home dinners from Perkins. Wholesome dinners served in hearty portions, just like Mom used to make when you lived at home.
Honey, have you seen my earring?
Come in now for a free slice of pie with any down-home dinner purchase.
Well, if you're planning on picking up that Christmas tree tomorrow, and the forecast not as mild as today. In fact, it looks like we'll see more clouds than sun, but temperatures should at least make it up into the mid-30s. Not too much warmer than they will be overnight tonight. Here's a look at the forecast details. 30 to 35 for the lows, becoming mostly cloudy with that fog developing. And then for tomorrow, more clouds than sun, but generally a pleasant day, mid to upper 30s for highs. Here's the extended forecast, maybe a few flurries from the next clip on Monday, 30. A little bit cooler Tuesday, Wednesday, back into the 20s.
Looks great. Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, tonight the Vikings are in sunny Florida with Randy Shaver, getting ready to do battle with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll have a preview after this. There are only 12 more days left in the Toys for Tots campaign, and the Marine Corps Reserve needs your help. Drop off new unwrapped toys at any of these locations or stop by our KARE 11 studios.
My dad taught me to buy from people who stand behind what they sell. I bought a new Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra because I got a V6 engine, air conditioning for a little over $13,000. And because I got the Oldsmobile Edge, guaranteed satisfaction, bumper-to-bumper warranty, roadside assistance, and more. Now that's what I call the power of intelligent engineering.
See your new generation of Oldsmobile dealer today. We've got the Edge.
When you want to tape your favorite shows, does it turn into a big production? Not with VCR Plus, the one-step programmer that works with your VCR and VCR Plus codes. Those numbers next to the shows in your TV guide and newspaper. Simply punch in the codes for the shows you want to tape. That's it. No more hassles. So program the old way or the fast, easy way with VCR Plus.
Arizona? That's just endless desert.
If you knew Arizona.
Wasteland.
If you knew Arizona.
Want more coffee?
If you knew.
Arizona. If you knew it, you'd do it.
At Montgomery Ward, save even more with holiday bonus dollars. Save $10 to $100 even on sale prices on all electronics, all appliances, all furniture, and all fine jewelry. Save $10 to $100 on the hottest brand names, Sunday through Thursday only with holiday bonus dollars. Plus, Sunday through Tuesday, save an extra 10% even on sale prices on apparel and home furnishings. Put more under your tree for less at Montgomery Ward right now.
Randy Shaver's down working on his tan. Probably has some SPF 10 right now in his hand. And Steve Carroll is here. Hey, talking hockey, you said there was more than just hockey down there.
Well, it got a little rough there at the old Met Center tonight. North Stars indeed had their hands full tonight, taking on the first place Capitals at the Met Center. Of course, the game featuring the return of a couple of ex-North Stars, and Dino Ciccarelli and Don Beaupre pick up the action. Now, Stars jumped off to the early lead on the power play. Defenseman Mark Tenorti tapped in the puck to give the Stars a 1-0 lead. Washington tied it before the Stars came back to take the lead. Todd Ellick with a goal out front. Again on the power play, Stars led 2-1 after one. Move to the second period now. You knew what was going to happen. Former North Star Dino Ciccarelli there to knock in the 15th. His 15th of the year was 2-2. Now check this out. You wonder why there's problems in the NHL. Bottom of your screen, Darian Hatcher will whack Dino Ciccarelli right in the face and then check him into the boards. Dino was bloody, to say the least. And ready for this? no penalty was called because the referees did not see it. Move to the third now. Washington broke the 2-all tie. Dale Hunter picked up the game winners. The Red Hot Capitals go on to beat the Stars by the score of 4-2. High school hockey scores from tonight. Big night in Prep Puck. St. Louis Parker winner over Mount West Tonka. Minnetonka beat Anoka 3-2. Blaine an overtime winner over Eden Prairie. Big upset up north. Hibbing knocked off Grand Rapids. Edina a 4-3 win over Kennedy. And it was Apple Valley posting a 5-4 win over Richfield. The United States Olympic hockey team played on national TV this afternoon. The Americans facing off against Team Canada in an Olympic preview. Former Southwest High School coach Dave Peterson behind the bench for the Americans, and he had to play catch-up with the Canadians. His team did. Former North Star Dave Archibald fired in a perfect pass from Eric Lindros to make it a 4-1 game. But the Americans charged back to make a contest out of it. Boston College star Bill Guerin will collect a pair of goals to lead the attack. Not enough, though, as the Canadians beat the American team this afternoon by the score of 5-3. No Gopher hockey or basketball tonight because of final exams, but you can hear from Coach Clem Haskins and hockey coach Doug Woot tonight at 11:05 on the Gopher Sports Extra. Both teams return to action this coming week. The Vikings are in Tampa Bay tonight, getting set for tomorrow night's tilt with the Bucks. The Vikings know that the heat is on if they're going to make it into the playoffs this year. Outgoing coach Jerry Burns looked pretty spiffy in his lucky green coat today. Burnsy taking off for the final regular season road trip of his career. Players seem to be relaxed and in good spirits when they boarded their plane for Florida this afternoon. The Vikings are the 4.5-point pick to beat Tampa Bay. And of course, KARE 11 has your ticket to the big game. It all starts tomorrow night with a special pregame show called The Heat Is On. KARE 11's Randy Shaver and Jeff Passel will co-host the show live from sunny Florida. The show begins at 6:30, kickoff between the Vikes and Bucks is set for 7 o'clock. Now that pregame show features many different stories, including what decorating a Christmas tree is like for Viking center Kirk Loudermilk and his family. Here. Kirk got the tree down and will be in Tampa for the game tomorrow. College football this afternoon, and a tough day for the St. John's Johnnies. They got bounced out of the semifinal round of the Division III playoffs, losing to Dayton 19-7. The Johnnies in white struck first Pat Mayhew to Tom Rumbold for the short score. St. John's led 7-0. Big story of the game, though, was turnovers. St. John's committed 10 turnovers, 6 fumbles and 4 interceptions, and it's tough to win doing that. Dayton's William Peterson gets around the end on this play, and he is gone off to the races 45 yards in the play as the Flyers come back to beat St. John's in the Division III semifinals. The final was 19-7. The annual Army-Navy game turned out to be a blowout this afternoon. Navy's Kevin Hickman powered his way into the end zone for the touchdown. The Navy collects their first win of the year, upsetting Army by the score of 24-3. The Minnesota Timberwolves are wrapping up their 2-game West Coast road trip tonight by stopping off in Los Angeles to face the Clippers. Game started about an hour ago, and right now the Clippers are leading the Timberwolves 46-40 in the second quarter. The Wolves return home Wednesday to take on San Antonio.
Okay, thank you, Steve. When we come back, the joy of the holiday season through the eyes of children.
Some home equity lenders tease you with low introductory rates. Not the Money Store. Right now, we're offering qualified homeowners fixed-rate home equity loans as low as 7.5%. That means after 90 days, your low rate would be 7.5%. And after 2 years, just 7.5%. The Money Store guarantees your low fixed rate will never go up. Apply right now. 1-800-LOAN-YES. The Money Store, where America goes for money.
I couldn't keep away from it, and I started to think about bread, and all the rest of it went away. Obsession, Calvin Klein.
This special holiday edition of Fabulous Value, yours now, exclusively at Dayton's.
In other news, spring is bringing extreme heat.
They say a 1977 court decision.
Prosecutors in the trial of
Before we go tonight, there is nothing quite like the look on a child's face during the holiday season. And today, the children of KARE 11 employees gathered for their annual Children's Christmas Party. We leave you with some of that holiday magic. Good night.
News Scribe 11 is brought to you in part by First Star.
Santa must have forgotten. Santa has a lot of houses to go to, you know. You were very good. You didn't do anything wrong. He won't forget you next year. It'll be okay.
With a pinch of love and a dash of joy, somebody's making a special surprise. It's a season with ginger and spice. Holiday wishes and candy cane kisses are always delicious and nice. It's a season with ginger and spice.
With every irresistible batch of butter cookies, every delicious dollop of whipped cream, all your favorite party cheeses and sour cream dips, and with every glass of nog, cup of cocoa, or tempting ice cream dessert, from our house to yours, Minnesota's dairy families send you all their very best for the holidays.
This season, give the Olympics triple cast of the 92 Summer Games. Call 1-800-OLYMPIC, order the gold package and get a set of Olympic pins, a commemorative book, the 92 highlights tape, and 2 solid weeks of all the best events. Order now and get a free Olympic warm-up jacket. Give the Olympics triple cast. Catch the fire behind the flame.
Cheers is filmed before